Steve, he's 35 and lives in Hertfordshire. He's married, has 2 kids and works as a civil servant. He loves football, brews beer and also does the local park run. Steve was diagnosed with asthma at the age of 2. Over the past 35 years, he's learnt a lot about his condition and understands his triggers. But it wasn't always this way. Steve used to see his GP regularly and do exactly as he was told. He'd even miss a train to work if he didn't have his inhaler. Otherwise, he would become anxious, which could set off an attack. But over time, he learnt more about his asthma, and he has become better at managing it, to the point where Steve feels like an expert in his condition. And even though Steve is an expert patient, he still attends the annual asthma review and collects his prescription from the pharmacy, because ultimately, he still wants reassurance that his asthma is well controlled, and even hopes that he might actually learn something new. But after repeating this cycle for all of his adult life, nothing much has changed. To book his annual asthma review, Steve has to spend 10 minutes on the phone, only to be told that for the next 2 months, they only have daytime appointments, which means taking time off work. This is really inconvenient. Plus, Steve never learns anything new. Introducing Apollo, the new way of carrying out your health review. It's an easy and flexible way of gaining a broader and more accurate picture of your condition and how you're managing. Apollo is flexible and easy. Steve can complete the annual review anywhere and at any time. This is important as Steve has always made sure that his asthma doesn't control his life. Because Apollo is integrated with Steve's healthcare records, it knows the exact type of asthma as well as his specific triggers and informs him when he might want to consider using his preventer inhaler, because even expert patients struggle to remember. Apollo also tries to keep Steve up to date with new research around clinical trials and diet, so he feels like he's learning something new about his condition and subsequently decides to make changes to his diet. Apollo also understands the intermittent and variable nature of asthma and therefore doesn't rely on the information entered during the review. It sends Steve quarterly push notifications asking him about his symptoms, such as when Steve recently developed a new allergy to red wine, which he was able to input into Apollo. This helps both him and his healthcare professional gain a broader and more accurate picture of his asthma health, as opposed to the snapshot that the annual review currently produces. Apollo also realises that Steve has to collect his prescription every 3 months and encourages him to use this opportunity to have his peak flow and inhaler techniques checked. Apollo, a flexible and easy way to complete your annual review that helps you play a more active role in your health. Speak to your pharmacist or GP to find out more.